What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is happening, SteelerNation? Give me a second, man. Let me check my levels. Yeah, the microphone is turned down. There we go. What up, SteelerNation? What's popping? How's everybody doing? How's it going? All of the above. Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. Let's get to it. First and foremost, we're going to say hello to the early commenters. Why Diggy in the building? Hello, Lanisha. The ladies, man. Hello, Miss Lanisha. Hello, Miss Destiny, Miss Sade. Oh, man, let's give the ladies a round of applause. Fellas, y'all know the routine. You know the routine, man. Be kind and say hello to our lovely ladies of SteelerNation. They in here early. Who else we got up in here? Rajon39, Ron Simpson Gaming. Who else is up in this piece, as they would say back in the day? Mr. Elman is in here. Joshua Shields. Who else? Few late nights. Ali Howard, CT Pittman. Hello, Miss Diane. Diane in the building as well. Another one of our lovely ladies of SteelerNation. Look at that, man. Joe Vlogs in here early. He says fire with the fire emojis. Tomlin. But hello, Diane. Another lovely lady in the chat. Appreciate you coming through. Andre Romero. Who else? David Jones Jr. Kev So Nice. Brent Fox, Tristan Cooper, Brian Williams. And I think that's about all we have at the current moment. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about it. Tonight, I really want to focus on the phone calls. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me turn this brightness down here on my camera. There we go. Don't have a whole lot to get into tonight, man. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. Rewatching the game has just been painful. Extended family members, you guys will see the All-22 as normal. May get to that tomorrow. But if not, our normal schedule is typically on Thursday. But it's brutal. It is very brutal watching this game again, man, because yeah, it's bad. Okay, the phone number, that's right. Let me put that up there. Here you guys go. Walla boom, walla bing. 619-924-0818. 619-924-0818. And I've been kind of lazy, guys. As you can see, still using that same banner. I want to change that banner up a little bit as far as the, take that towel off of it and, introduce the phone number as well in a better way. Not a better way. I just want to give it a better look. I think I'm going to do like a lower third type of situation, just to, cover the bottom of the screen. And I got my logo there in the top, right? But yeah, there's the phone number, man. 619-924-0818. So for those of you who can see it, there it is. For those of you who needed to hear it, there it was. And I look forward to hearing you all, and we'll get to it. But basically, man, what I want to talk about tonight, man, I'm just going to make a few quick points. You guys see the title. You see the title of the video. So, that's really the question that I'm asking to you guys. And I'm going to, look over in the chat in just a moment before we get to the phone calls. But again, rewatching the game, man, it's brutal. It's really brutal. Thank God from an injury standpoint, man, we heard that TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith both practiced. Both of those guys were in the concussion protocol. So as I see here, just to give you an update, man, today's injury report, Kenny Pickett obviously did not practice. Najee Harris did not practice. Still dealing with a knee. But Mike Tomlin did kind of say, Najee Harris is one of those guys that's kind of nursing injury that he fought through last week. So I would expect him to play, but he did not practice today, so that could have possibly been a rest day. Number 23 was limited at practice with an ankle. James Pierre full with the shoulder. And Landon Roberts did not practice again. You know, he's nursing the groin that he did play with this past week. No one expected him to play on Sunday with that groin. Alex Highsmith limited today with a concussion protocol. Isaac Seumalo did not practice, dealing with the shoulder. And again, this is another guy that I think so. He gave it a go, right? He did play, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I was watching the line. I think he did play a little bit against the Patriots. TJ Watt, concussion protocol as well. He was limited today. Keanu Benton with the oblique, limited. He had that oblique last week as well. So guys like that, you know, Cam Hayward limited with groin. These are the guys who had those injuries that, you know, kind of percolated, and now, you know, they're just managing those. So again, I would expect Najee Harris and Landon Roberts, Alex Highsmith, and TJ Watt to play, given let's just assume that they pass the protocol. It's a good sign for them being limited already early in the week. That means they're participating to some capacity. And then, like I said, also Keanu Benton and, you know, Cam Hayward. I expect those guys to play. But let me just get the brass tacks here, man. Let me just get to the point really quick. And then I'll open it up. Before I ask the question, I just want to talk about several quick things. Plain and simple, man. This team from top to bottom, though it may look good on the roster, you know, if you look on paper, they're not that great. We have some talent, okay? The Steelers have talent on both sides of the ball. They have elite talent, if you ask me, at the pass rush. You have a solid to potentially elite player on the back end, and a Minkah Fitzpatrick, even though we're not seeing Minkah used in that capacity. Excuse me. You also have an emerging, possibly a superstar cornerback in Joy Porter Jr. Has to continue to clean up penalties. But again, you're seeing a guy that has shutdown corner capability, right? And then also in the middle, you got guys like Keanu Benton that's emerging as well. I think this dude is going to be good for a long time. I really do. I think Keanu Benton has the opportunity to be one of those guys. So you got some pieces on defense. Defense have played decent enough, but the defense also has given up a lot at the wrong time. A lot of the situations that I'm noticing where we're getting exposed is inside linebacker, right? That was a position that the Steelers questioned coming into the season. We got a three-headed monster that we were able to rotate. Those guys played relatively well. You know, Cole Holcomb played relatively well. Quan Alexander was playing relatively well, and Landon Roberts was playing well, and Landon Roberts is still playing decent. You know, best you can expect to get from him, and tough guy. This dude played against the Patriots with a groin. You know, it's funny. I think those guys have exceeded my expectations from top to bottom coming into the season because we were unsure. Remember, I was big on Cole Holcomb, but I did say, listen, we got to see him do it as a Steeler, and he was coming off of a foot injury or ankle injury, something of that nature, to start the season. We all know Quan Alexander, and Quan Alexander has been a solid player for many years. But again, it was one of those things, we got to see him do it for the Steelers. And then Landon Roberts, same situation. So I don't think any of us was expecting outstanding inside linebacker play coming into the season. I think those guys played up to what you could have expected from them. And we're doing a good job until we took a blow, and all of them have been injured. Two of them we won't see again, right? They won't return. Didn't get a whole lot of help at the safety position outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick when you talk about number 23, when you talk about number 31. I will say this, Trenton Thompson, he's showing up here and there, helping to solidify things. But again, on that back end, we just have not been great down the middle of the field, and safeties have given up too much. And like I said, a lot of times it's either away from Minkah or Minkah is actually being asked to blitz. Sorry about that, guys. Let me adjust my heart. Only reason why I got this hat on backwards, man, again, being lazy, guys, I got to get another light to shine upward, because obviously when I do this, you can't see my face, right? Because I have the light shining down. So that's the only reason why I turned the hat around. But I got to stop being lazy, man. Use some of you guys' wonderful donations. I'm just saying that as a side, man, to help upgrade the presentation of this show. I need another light. Round of applause, man, to CT Pittman. Again, being lazy. Can you see where it says title text? I got to just go in and fix that. I got to stop being lazy. Round of applause to CT Pittman. I appreciate the donation. Thank you for that. He says, when in Boston and watched the game, was in Boston and watched the game, surrounded by Pat fans. I told my people with me not winning with Mitch Trubisky. That game was nasty work. Nasty work. It was, man. It was bad. I'm going to get to that too here in a second. But yeah, defensively, man, I just feel like they've done enough this season. When you look at the totality of it, listen, the 49ers came and punched us in the mouth in the first game. We gave up a lot of points. I understand that. Outside of that, man, we haven't, and let me do it, man. I always go through this exercise with you guys. Let me just run through our schedule really, really, really quick. And, just put things in perspective for everybody. 49ers gave us that work. 30 points put on us. After that, we allowed 22 points to the Browns, 18 points to the Raiders, 30 points to the Texans. So it's 230 burgers. But after that, 10 points to the Ravens, 17 points to the Rams, 20 points to the Jaguars, 16 points to the Titans, 19 points to the Packers, 13 points to the Browns, 10 points to the Bengals, 24 points, decent, to the Cardinals, and then 21 to the Patriots. But largely, the Steelers have not been killed. All right, offensively in terms of score points against them. I mean, look at all of these games, man. Look at all of these games. 18, 22, 17, 20, 16, 19, 13, 10. All of these games, the Bengals game we did win. We did lose that second Browns game. All of these games, winnable games, man. All of them. Only give up 20 points to the Jaguars. Winnable games right there. You see what I'm saying? It's not like the defense has been horrible. They haven't been great, but the defense has played enough for you to have an offense to produce 20 to 24 points. And had we done that in just a couple more of those games, they win. So I'm not putting everything on the defense, but the defense hasn't been outstanding. The defense hasn't been stellar. There's still some Swiss cheese hole moments in that defense, but they've done enough. Even rewatching this Patriots game, the defense got off the field enough. The defense got hit in the mouth early in the game, right? We gave up some points in the first half, but they were still getting off the field at moments in the first half. They pretty much shut out the Patriots. Well, they did shut the Patriots out in the second half. But the real issue, man, is this offense. And that's what I want to talk about really quick, man, as it's going to coincide with the thumbnail. You see the thumbnail. You see who's in the thumbnail? Darnell Washington. And I'm going to talk about Darnell Washington here in a moment. But largely, this offense just has not been able to do anything. Round of applause to Kev. So nice. Appreciate the donation, man. You guys, love y'all for that. Thank you so much, brother. Nah, Kev. He says, Sam, I heard that TJ Watt and Alex are out. Is that true? And the Steelers need a quarterback room, whether Kenny there or not. And Devin Haney, the truth. And on 4th and 2, Allen Robinson was open underneath on a short route. Yeah, Devin Haney, let's talk about that really quick. Yeah, that boy's nice. But stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. No, they are not out. From last thing I heard is that these guys should be able to play. We don't know yet, but again, they did practice. They practiced today. They were limited, but they practiced. And to me, that's a good sign given the fact that they were in concussion protocol. If they're already practicing to some degree, that's a good sign. But I think what you probably heard is the fact that both of those guys were in the concussion protocol, and that's definitely not a good thing. I'm pretty sure Allen Robinson was open on that 4th and 2. I haven't gone completely through the all 22 yet, but I didn't even need to, man, because Allen Robinson, I'm sure, was running an under route or something like that. Just basically just looking at the look that we put out there in the deep shot that we took. Typically in that situation, you have at least one guy running underneath. And it never should have gotten to that 4th and 2. But that leads me to that point. The offense just hasn't been good for multiple reasons. One big reason, even in the run game, even though we've run the football relatively well, Darnell Washington is a liability. I mean, it's bad. This dude, guys, it's almost every time we run to his side when he's on the lone side, when he's not paired up with Broderick Jones. I said this a week or two ago. Whenever we run that toss play and we run it to the side of Darnell Washington, it gets blown up. I know they kept talking about this guy being the 6th offensive lineman, but he is on the ground entirely too much. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to show you guys something because I meant to send this to myself earlier. Let me see if I still have it. I have it right here. I'm going to send myself this photo that I took on my phone as I was watching a little piece of the all 22. You know, as I took my little man to his basketball practice, you know, they don't like parents to be in there. So me and my wife sitting in the car, and I was looking at a little bit of the all 22. And I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Let me get it. Bear with me for a second. I just sent it to myself. I'm going to pull it on screen momentarily because y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. And this is indicative, man, of what we're seeing from this dude. He's on the ground entirely too much, or guys are just getting around him entirely too much. All right, here it is. I just downloaded it. I'm going to add it as a as an image. Give me a second. Hold on. Because y'all got to see this, man. Y'all have got to see this. All right, hold on. Let me find it. It's bad, bro. It's bad. I mean, and this dude is looking like this. Y'all see that? Let me move it around a little bit. Darnell Washington. Do y'all see what Najee Harris is? Hold on. Let me make that a little bit smaller so I can fit most of that in the frame. Do you guys see this? Look at Allen Robinson. He's all alone. Look at number 61. You know, lost a little penetration, but he's there. Look at 65, you know, and Dan Moore, Sayamalu. Look at on the right side. You know, Daniels, Broderick Jones, look like they're going to have their way. But look at Pat Fryermuth going to the next level. But look at this guy right in front of Najee Harris. And look who he's beating. And it's ridiculous, guys. It is ridiculous. This happens so often this season. It has happened so often. I mean, it's bad, bro. And if it's not that, what's happening a lot is he's finding himself on the ground. I mean, getting tossed. This dude is 6'6". 6'6" and like 250. And listen, I'm not trying to get on his case because he's a tight end. And I know traditionally, I mean, we've been lucky in our tenure to have some big tight ends that could block. You know, the Heath Millers of the world, the Matt Spates of the world. I get it. But, bruh, it's a two-way street. You got to do a better job. And offensive coordinators, the collaboration of Faulkner and Mike Sullivan. Can we stop running that play Can we stop running those plays that we're going right at Darnell Washington? Or at least put him on the side of Broderick Jones, because when he's on that side, he does a little better. You know, those guys have chemistry. They played together at Georgia. But it's bad. Most of the time when you see those plays where he's getting blown up in the backfield, Darnell Washington has missed the block, or he's on the floor, or somebody blows right past him like that. And like I said, I'm not trying to beat this guy down, but it's crazy. It's a collection of things that's happening with that offense. And the run game has gotten going over the last few weeks. I get it. But it's little things like that, man, where there's no creativity. Teams know what we're going to do. Like New England was sitting all over those routes and all over those run plays we were running. Like they just get right in your face because we have no creativity. And I know some people are saying, oh, well, it should be better because Canada's gone. But the playbook is still installed, people. I've even heard some of the players say during the week, yeah, you know, there's some things we wish we could, you know, we could try to implement a few things here and there, but it's not like you can just redo everything week to week. So that's what we're really pretty much dealing with. We're dealing with the remnants of Matt Canada's playbook. Round of applause to C.T. Pittman for the donation. That's a good question. He says, do you think Washington is better than Gentry was? Did Gentry get picked up by another team? I don't recall if he got picked up by another team, but I can say right now, as of today, Zach Gentry was starting to do better than what we're seeing out of Darnell Washington. Can Darnell Washington turn into something? I think he would. I think he could. I mean, listen, the guy still has that physical stature. The guy is still a physical freak, you know, being able to move the way he moves at that size. I would like to see us get him more in the passing game instead of just the obvious play action dump off to him. And, you know, find where he blocks best. Where's he best as a blocker? Is he a better blocker on the move? You know, maybe he's not as good as an inline tight end. You know what I'm saying? Maybe line him up at H-back or something like that. Or maybe, hey, line him up at fullback and see if we can run some things out of that with him as a lead blocker. So you got to find where he's good at. Maybe, and I know I've seen it a little bit, but I really got to go pay attention to the film and take note to whether or not we're putting him in that situation. Maybe he's better when we run split zone. You know, when you line a guy up on this side and he comes across the formation and blocks the backside and the play is going this way, maybe he's better at that. But I've seen more, you know, other people do that more than him. I've seen us try to do that with Haywood, which that's not a good idea either, Steelers. Haywood's just physically, he's just not as big, you know, to block these linemen or these linebackers. And I've seen us do it with Allen Robinson, and he hasn't had a lot of success. So why don't you do that? If you're going to do it, maybe Darnell Washington is better at that. I don't know. I have to look. But I'm saying it's very possible that he's just not a good inline tight end blocker. So if that's the case, you need to utilize him in the best ways that he can block, whether that's, you know, off the ball or lined up in the backfield or whatever, and do that. And we definitely need to see him, you know, be more of a contributor on offense, you know, more than just blocking. Also, man, listen, I know everybody is saying fire everyone, fire Tomlin, fire this person, fire that person. I understand that. I understand the sentiment. I said it to you guys 2 weeks in a row. You may have fatigue at this point as far as seeing the same face for that long. And you can feel however you want to feel. But the truth of the matter is, man, regardless of your feelings for Mike Tomlin, this offense is just not playing well consistently. They're just not. When you look at the game from the bird's eye view, there's so many times, like that screenshot I just showed you, missed blocks or people unable to hold their blocks. There's the quarterback play. Let's just talk about that for a moment. You guys have heard me say what I say about Kenny Pickett, right? Do I think Kenny Pickett has talent somewhere? I think he may have talent, but I just don't know if the intangibles will ever kick through. Will they ever peak and come out? Is there a sleeping giant in his intangibles that will come out? That's what scares me about Kenny Pickett, is because I've seen him display talent, even if you want to go back to his college days. Okay, there's some talent there. I've seen him display talent as a Pittsburgh Steeler. This year, it seems like that talent is being held back in his own mind. The bailing out of the pocket, the non-field reading. And I swear, I don't know what it is. I still kind of feel like it's somewhat the scheme, but quarterback play just hasn't been good. And then here comes Mitch Trubisky. And my God, this dude literally told us in last week's press conference, yeah, I got to be careful, but I'm going to push the ball down the field. He said that. He literally said, I'm going to push the ball down the field. And every time he pushes the ball down the field, he seems to throw it right to the defense or throws it into double coverage. It's bad. It is bad. So again, pick your narrative. Pick your reason why you feel like the Steelers aren't winning. I know it's very easy to point at the coach. Very easy to do that. But when we all can agree that the quarterback play has been horrible, when we all can agree that the offensive play calling has been in the toilet, and I can say this now after a couple of weeks, before and after Matt Canada, situational play calling. And how about Mike Tomlin, again, like I've always said about him, taking the bullet for his coaching staff? How about him saying that he was good with that shot on 4th down? See what I'm saying? If that was the plan, I don't like that. And again, he has continued to take the lashing or the beating for his coaches. And that's the sign of a good leader. Might not be what we want to hear. And no, I do not agree with it. So if they all okayed that, I don't agree with it. But anytime he goes in that press conference, he's going to take the beating for the coaches. But why would you do that? Y'all know how I feel about that sequence. It's 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2. We're driving on the last drive of the game and you come out and empty. So even before we get to 4th and 2, why would we come out and empty on 3rd and 2? This is an opportunity for you to run the football because you know you're going for it on 4th down anyway. I will never understand that sequence of plays. Whether Mike Sullivan, Eddie Faulkner, or Mike Tomlin. But again, unlike some people, I do not believe that the head coach on any football team, unless he's the play caller, calls every offensive and defensive play. I don't know why some of y'all assume that. I'm going to assume what they told us. They told us that Eddie Faulkner is the offensive coordinator and Mike Sullivan is the play caller. So I have to go with that. So I don't understand them play calls on 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2. The 3rd and 2 should have been something quick and easy or a run because you had the 4th down in your back pocket if you didn't get it. And on 4th and 2, why would you take that deep shot? I understand. Listen, I get you got one-on-one, but you still have to be precise. You still have to be precise in that shot. And I did hear Mike Tomlin say, hey, we took a shot like that late in the Baltimore game. Okay, you did, but I feel like this wasn't the exact same situation. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I kind of feel like we had a little more time on the clock. And then furthermore, we took that shot to George Pickens. Round of applause to C.T. Pittman again and Stillberg. Appreciate the donations. Spielberg has an excellent point. Sim, do you really think us Steelers fans could really handle a fresh start with a new coach and new scheme? Seeing how we acting now, and are we really ready? Man, no. I don't think so. That's why I said, listen, I'm imagining the day that let's just say this for kicks and giggles. I'm imagining the Pittsburgh Steelers organization decided they're not going to renew Mike Tomlin's contract after the 2024 season. They bring in a new head coach, and this head coach wins 2 games, right? This head coach comes in and they have a season like the Cardinals and the Patriots. I can guarantee you SteelerNation will lose their mind, and they will be calling for that man's job that first season. Because that's how we are as Steelers fans. Spoiled. So no, I don't think that the fan base is ready for that. I don't. I'm telling you. You wait. And whether we end up with a losing season this season or not, you wait until the day that the Steelers end up like 7-10, which could be this year. But I'm saying post Mike Tomlin. You wait till that day comes, and let's see how much grace they give to that coach. CT Pittman says, I don't think we have any QBs on the roster that can read defenses pre-snap or post-snap either. Good point. So this is what I asked, and this is the question I have for you guys and gals of SteelerNation. If you are in the same camp as CT Pittman, right? I'm going to say something that might hurt some of you guys because y'all going to feel like, oh, you just trying to make an excuse, which I never understand why y'all say that. But if you feel like CT Pittman, then how is it possible that you could also feel that everything that has happened this season is on the head coach? Riddle me that. And that's what I'm seeing. It's this offense. Yes, I point my finger at Mike Tomlin because he's the head man. But I'm also a realist. Looking at the quarterback play that we have endured this season, how are we 7-6? Please answer that. I don't know how we got there. I really don't. Round of applause to Alpha God 256. He says, Kenny isn't the guy for us. Maybe he is elsewhere. Yeah, maybe. Maybe to both of those statements. Maybe he isn't the guy, and maybe he's better elsewhere. I'm going to read a comment right under Alpha Gods just because I see it. Robert Roday, is it Rody? He says, if the Steelers don't draft a QB, they should trade for Hendon Hooker. He was a first-round talent that went in the third because of a torn ACL. Okay. So again, I'm asking you guys, if y'all are in the same boat, then how are y'all dumping everything on Tomlin's head? If you feel like the quarterback ain't competent and there's no quarterback on the roster that we feel like can read the field. Again, listen to my words. I'm not making no excuse for Mike Tomlin. I'm just saying in general, if the coach name was Spalding, Coach Spalding was the coach right now, and we felt like there was no quarterback on the roster that's worth a you know what, then how can we really beat that coach up for it? And that's all I got to say, man. I don't really have much more. This offense just bad, bro. And that's why you see the title. I don't understand why some of you guys and gals maybe still have faith in this team at 7-6 and 6th in the playoff race. Ain't that crazy? They still in the 6th spot. The Steelers somehow still control their own fate. But my question to you all, and I'm going to ask this, read a few of them, and then I'll go to the cause. Why do you still believe in the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers? I really want to know the answer to that question. Chris G, round of applause for the donation. Chris G says, even with this offense, I think we're 9-4 at worst with Cole and Quan still there. We have a top defense. We just need the offense to be average. I feel your sentiment, Chris, but I don't know if I would agree with that. We lost close football games when those guys were playing. I get it. The defense has done enough, but we're not scoring points. Like, where does the defense? I don't know, man. So in this past game, what we're asking the defense to do, right? We're asking with Cole and Quan out there, we're asking the defense to hold the Patriots to 17 points. Which, yeah, it can be done. We've done that early in the year. But that's what it's come down to. We're asking our defense in this past game to only surrender 17 points so the 18-point Steelers can win the game. And I said it early in the year. Some of y'all remember that. I said that it wasn't sustainable. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. And it's sad. All right, let me see what y'all got, man. Mark Malone says, because Tomlin won't put Rudolph in. Rudolph gives a puncher's chance, and that is a chance. Let me say something about that. I'm not disagreeing with your statement at all, Mark Malone, about Rudolph and your feelings for it. I don't know. I'm gonna speak on the narrative around why Rudolph is not playing. But first, let's give a round of applause to Why Diggy. Appreciate the donation, brother. Why Diggy says the QB thing is more on AR2 for allowing a lame duck GM to draft the QB. Maybe KP8 can turn it around, but it's not looking good. He might be shot. Yeah. And that's a painful reality, man. You know, Kenny might not come out of this funk. He might not. He might not. But listen, you do have to look at the front office in some scenarios, especially the draft. And, you know, our quarterback situation hasn't been great for a long time. And I mean, I know the cover up is to say, well, you know, we didn't really need to look for a QB with Ben Roethlisberger on the roster. But, you know, could they have did a better job preparing once they realized in their mind, if they felt like Rudolph wasn't necessarily the guy, could they have done more? Right? Could they have drafted another QB late and you have 3 draftees, you know, as opposed to just signing, you know, the guy that comes to camp as being like 3rd or your 4th, you know? So arguably, you know, some people would say that. They would say they didn't handle that situation great. Man, round of applause to Alpha God and big salute. Big salute to y'all, man, for the donations coming in. Man, this is big facts. Alpha God says, let's be honest, it doesn't matter who the coach or QB is. We are always going to compare them to the previous person we had. That is big facts because we do it with safety also. Big Salute says, doesn't this feel like deja vu? Same scene every year. Sorta. Give me a little more point to that. I don't know if you're just making a general statement or if you're referencing something. But I get your point. But I want to get back to the Mason Rudolph thing. Have you guys ever just asked yourself, let's be honest for a second. Let's look ourselves in the mirror and really ask a legit question. Why isn't Mason Rudolph playing? What narrative can you pull up? Does Mike Tomlin have some alliance or allegiance, rather, with Mitch Trubisky? Mitch Trubisky is new to the organization. 2nd season. You're going to say that he has some alliance with Kenny Pickett? Maybe. He knew the kid in college. But Kenny Pickett, you drafted him to be the starter. So I really want to know, what reason is Mason Rudolph not playing? Like, because some of you guys are saying it as if it's really like a personal vendetta. Like, has it ever occurred to you all that for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe Tomlin and Sullivan and whoever else has a hand in the quarterbacks, maybe they don't feel like Mason Rudolph gives us a better chance? Because it's funny, because a lot of people was not saying this. That's what's funny to me. A lot of y'all won't saying anything about Mason Rudolph when Mason Rudolph stunk the place up. Some of y'all, God rest his soul, a lot of y'all was saying that Dwayne Haskins was the guy over Rudolph. I remember that. Rest in peace to Dwayne. I remember when y'all wanted Duck to play in front of Rudolph. Y'all remember that? Oh, I remember that season very well. And then Rudolph comes back in and plays pretty good later in the season, but gets hurt again. When Duck started to struggle, when Duck to Duck Goose got cooled off a little bit. I remember all of that. So I'm just curious to know, why is it all of a sudden there's this love affair for Mason Rudolph? McDave says, Tomlin don't know talent. Waited mad long till he realized Warren was better than Porter. Okay, that's pure speculation. I respect it. Still Elite says, let's not act like fans wasn't clowning Mason in 2019. Got benched for Duck and couldn't get a job with another team and had to come back as a third stringer. In the Green says, Mason Rudolph is not playing because Tomlin can't evaluate QBs correctly. It's as simple as that. Okay. Again, none of us know any of this to be fact. I'm just accepting and appreciating you guys' comments. Dragons Jay-Z says, I'm Dobbs. He says, Dobbs defense. The Steelers did diddly squad as far as giving him an offense to work with his strength. Well, Dobbs wasn't never going to be in the play. Let's just be honest, because of Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, I remember when y'all was ready to run Dobbs out of town. Come on, man. I don't forget. I remember that. And a lot of y'all are saying because the Steelers are we're spoiled fans. Yeah. Hey, Rudolph took the hit to the head with the helmet for us. Oh, Gabe, don't do that. At this point, how can it hurt starting Rudolph? Who cares if he bombs? Let's see what he got. Yeah, listen, I'm not disagreeing with anybody's sentiment. I'm just saying, I don't know how some of us can speak so confidently as if we know the answer. We don't. We don't. I just feel like there has to be a reason. And outside of what some of you guys are speculating, listen, man, again, let's take Mike Tomlin's name off of it. I refuse to believe that an NFL coach could be so blinded by something and have ties here, or I just don't believe any successful coach can do that and get away with it. You can't cover up funk that long. Like, I get what you guys are saying, and again, I respect the opinion, but I can't really comment on it because I have no way of knowing if any of that is true. I just don't. If that's the case, you could say the organization can't evaluate QBs, right? Because a lot of y'all are the same ones that said Kenny ain't that. So who's that on? Is that on Tomlin too? Or is that on Tomlin, Khan, or Kevin Colbert, AR2? You see what I'm saying? So if we're going to say that, then we must be saying that the Steelers organization hasn't been able to evaluate QBs, not just the head coach. I mean, the head coach has them when they're there. But we have seen Mason Rudolph play. We've seen it. We saw Mason Rudolph be the guy when he had to be the guy. And, can we say that he played phenomenal? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he was horrible. But I feel like when Mason Rudolph was playing, we all came here and said the same thing. man, he stared down his target. I think we were saying the exact same evaluation about him that we're complaining with Kenny about. This guy looks at his one target. I will give it to this. Mason Rudolph, I think he does throw a pretty nice deep ball. But other than that, we did feel like he was forcing the ball sometimes too on the one read. I'm just saying, you guys are defending Mason Rudolph as if this dude played lights out and the coaches decided, well, let's just sit him and play somebody else. But he's playing phenomenal. I mean, this dude could take us to the Super Bowl, but let's just play somebody else. That's how y'all are treating it. Round of applause, man, to CT Pittman. Then I'm going to get to the phone calls because I've been yapping too long. Appreciate it, man. Y'all coming crazy with these donations. CT Pittman says, the only reason I would still believe in the 2023 Steelers is Tomlin. Okay. He has a knack for pulling out wins when he's considered dead. And what'd he say? Okay, and he says, as far as Mason not playing, it's politics. Mitch makes $10 million. He's gonna play. Ha ha ha. That's the one thing a lot of people are not considering. The checkbook sometimes matters. And that's what I be saying again. And can I say that 100% confidently? I can't, because I can't prove it. But I think any of us general sports fans would say that. Organizations they're not willing to not play somebody who's making a boatload of money. Same thing with Kenny Pickett. The same reason why I think Kenny Pickett is your quarterback next year, because they made a first round investment. It's all business. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I think people are a little too harsh on coaches when you make statements like, oh, this guy doesn't know nothing, he doesn't know better. That's not true. It's not true. I think a lot of times it is business. Hey, did they pull Mitch last year when he was playing and threw Kenny in earlier than we expected? Because then now the business makes sense. Okay, we're paying this guy, but this is our first round investment. So it's easier to make that move. Again, that's just speculation, but I'm trying to put some logic behind my speculation instead of just spewing, oh, that's because he doesn't know what he's doing. But all right, man, let's get at it. Let's get at it. Oh, Joe Mannix makes a good point. Watson, $230 million. But you know, Watson is dealing with an injury. So, yeah, I really don't understand the Browns paying that type of money. But anyway, let's get to some phone calls, man. Whoa, we got a lot of them. So guys, if I can ask y'all to rapid fire, like for real. I know all of y'all always try to say, hey, I'm gonna try to be slow. Try to be quick. Don't try. Be quick. Be quick. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 calls. Be quick, like a minute, so everybody can get their just due. All right, first up in the queue, we have area code 443. What you got for us?
What's good, Sim? Happy good evening to all the ladies in the chat. Real quick, man, you are right about the offense. But you got to look at the whole offensive staff, and I say that because of the last 3 years it's been bad, and in the last 3 years, meaning Ben's last year, getting plays in on time, running the correct routes, the depth of routes, communication, the timing, and this offense just feel like it don't have any heart, man. It has no heartbeat. You know what I mean? The offense don't have a true leader or true leaders. And I don't really know how I feel about Deontay trying to lead George Pickens when his attitude and demeanor is similar. I'm not trying to throw shots at Deontay because I like the dude, but his attitude and his demeanor is similar to George's when they show that whole attitude and the lack of lackadaisical situations on the field. So I don't really know how I feel about that. Real quick, and I'll get off your line, man. I believe the last king of Scotland, and I appreciate him for giving you a donation last week, but he said he wanted to hear what excuses 443 had for Mike Tomlin. I'll just reiterate real quick what I said last week. I said that someone said that Mike Tomlin has no coaching tree. I said, what do that mean and what do that prove? And I gave the example of Bill Belichick's coaching tree, where all of them left and all of them was trash and half of them tried to come back. That's why I said that. So that's not an excuse. That's just a fact. The last thing I said was Tomlin is not going anywhere. Well, as of this year and into 2024, he's not. So again, that's not an excuse. That's a fact. Appreciate you taking my call, man.
Man, I appreciate the call, and I'll speak on that last point so I can be quick. Here's the question that I have for all of you all in the chat. As Steeler fans, and here I try to create a family environment. I mean, you can argue, you can beef, keep it respectful. But here's the question I have. Why is it anytime somebody prefers a player or a coach or whatever, coach in this instance, why does it have to be an excuse? Like, what if 443 is just a fan of Mike Tomlin and his opinion is X, Y, and Z? You understand what I'm saying? Why does it always have to be, oh, you're making an excuse. Oh, you riding so-and-so's, oh, you get your out of his mouth. And why I gotta be that? That's the part that's weird to me. We got a donation, man. I gotta recognize that, and then I'll get back to the calls. Kev's so nice, man. Appreciate the donation. Y'all going crazy tonight. Yo, Joe Manick says 443 might be Tomlin. But you see what I'm saying? Not one. That's funny. But I'm talking about when some of y'all really go at each other. And I'm like, for what? Who cares? We're just fans. Kev So Nice says the Steelers didn't do good of getting, I think he wants to say didn't do a good job of getting a QB room. We need to draft a QB really late or get a free agent. Number 10 is very limited, and he could care less with the football. And Mason has an arm, no too many good options. I think he wants to say Mason has no arm. I think that's what he's saying. Okay, appreciate the donation, Kev. So nice. Yeah, we definitely need to create a better locker room situation for that quarterback room, no doubt. Next up, 318. What you got for us?
Whoa, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Just got to show love to both teams, man. I really don't have too much words. I'm trying to make it quick, bro, but we got to do better, man. It's no excuses. Like, I just got to be patient. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young fan myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just pout and tout because we're losing. But damn, I'm sorry, but dog, bro, we got to do better, man. That's the only thing I can just say. We just got to do better. Y'all have a great night.
Appreciate your call. You don't have to censor yourself, man. It's all good. I try to keep it clean here, man, just because I know we have the youngest and such, and YouTube will get you. But I feel your pain, man. I'm sure many of us said that exact word watching this game or these last two games. They just got to do better, and it's hard to watch a rebuild in real time because the Steelers have been that organization. Like I said, they keep us with hope. And it's hard. It's hard, but that's what's happening, man. The Steelers, they're rebuilding. And, for 18 years, we didn't have to worry about a quarterback. And then here we are. And Steelers fans expect it to happen just like that. Comparing Kenny to all these other young players. And, I've heard about last night, people are already talking to me about Tommy DeVito. And I'm like, here y'all go, man. Every quarterback that you see that seems to be having success, y'all gonna just tell me how, dog, it's always a crapshoot. The 49ers did not scout Brock Purdy and think that he was gonna be their guy. Stop, man. Like, it just happens like that sometimes. Area code 757, what you got for us?
What's good, brother? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Thanks for taking the call. Norfolk, stand up.
Oh, yeah. VA.
All right. Yes, sir. This is my thing, man. Every week, our offense is our opponent's best weapon. And it's sickening. You know what I mean? It's craziness. We have more than problems than just the quarterback. The quarterback is a huge problem. Our offensive line coach, I don't know what he's doing, because you have players that we have deemed to be, useless, going to other teams off our offensive line and are becoming top, 5 in the league guards and tackles. That's crazy to me. I say that to say this. Look at Dotson. I'm happy for him. He's had success. But why do we write this man off? So that goes to coaching. We make no adjustments. We sit there and put our head down and continue to do the same thing, expecting a different outcome. What is that? The definition of insanity. I know people are mad if I'm going to get rid of Tomlin, this, that, and the third. And I'm not happy with him and what he's doing. He hires his coordinators. He is a seasoned coach. You bring who you want in as a coordinator. You stuck with Canada. And then you do the hiring from within. Then people you hire from within, learn from the people you got rid of. So what do you expect? More of the same. I appreciate you taking the call, brother. Thank you.
Man, no doubt. I appreciate the call, especially from VA. Y'all already know how I give it up for VA. And here's the funny thing. 757, some of y'all might not know. He from right down there in that area where Tomlin's from, that Tidewater. And that's how he speaks. So that's the thing. You see how he just explained, listen, man, I'm not happy. That's okay. It's okay for us to not be happy with him, maybe not even like him. I just laugh at some of the ludicrous comments that some of you guys say about Mike Tomlin to fit your narrative. But I'm with 757. I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now, man. And actually, my cousin Floyd, I know he don't care about me saying this. I saw big brother cousin Floyd over the weekend. And he kind of talked me off of the ledge like, nah, man, it ain't all on Coach T. And he broke down a lot of stuff. And he is right. It's just that he's the front man. So some of the stuff that we don't like and agree with, we're going to point the finger at him. And some of the things are warranted. But yeah, man, this offensive unit, Kenny Pickett not quite having it yet. The offensive line always struggling early. And then, it's like, it's so much more wrong with this offense as a whole. Yeah. And where I do blame Tomlin as well, man, is that hiring from within. This is going to tell me a lot this offseason, man, with whoever they hire as offensive coordinator. 864, what you got for us?
Hey, Sam, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Oh. Hey, Sam, I'm going to be very quick, bro. I just want to make this one little statement. Since Spygate, Bill Belichick, seemed like the coaches around the league should have wised up. New England, talent-wise, didn't have the type of talent that a lot of these, even when they played Pittsburgh in 2016, they did not have better talent than the Steelers. But what I'm trying to say is that our coaching staff is going to have to, I don't know if we need more coaches, because I think Steelers only have like 19 or 20 coaches, where most teams have like 28 and 38 coaches. Ravens got 38 coaches. Steelers may have to hire more coaches, but you got to start studying these teams. You got to study their tendencies. Not just study their talent, you got to study their coaching and what their tendencies and what these head coaches like to do at certain times. And I'm not saying that Tomlin and them not doing that. They could be. But I feel like Steelers probably need to add on some more coaches. And it's one other thing. 1 yard. Philadelphia Eagles, man. The Philadelphia Eagles. They have one play. If they need 1 yard, they bring two guards, maybe a fullback and a guard beside the quarterback, and they put two behind the quarterback. And I think they say it's either 95 or 100% success every time they do it. They get 1 yard. Everybody knows what they're going to do. But the synergy, when they all come together, they make that push, they guarantee to get 1 yard. Steelers out here, the game a couple weeks ago, they needed a yard and a half. They had a shotgun on the goal line. I'm like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to get, if you're going to need a yard or something, a yard and a half, get up. Follow what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. You got to watch these other teams and what is successful around the league. Once you see what is working around the league, bite your pride and go ahead and start using the same technique. You can do it. But that's all I have to say, bro. I'm a little hyped up, man, because I just feel like the Steelers, we have talent. We have a lot of talent, but we just our coaching, and I'm not putting it on Mike Tomlin, because I know his preparation, he has to do things. Oh yeah, one other thing. I noticed that this past game, in the beginning of the second quarter, when we had the ball, Pittsburgh had the ball, in the beginning of the second quarter, when the teams going back on the field, Bill Belichick had his defense on the sideline. He was telling them something. He was talking to them, talking about in-game adjustments. And then he let the team. Once the teams go out, the next exact play, Trubisky threw a darn interception, and it was something that Bill Belichick seen, and he made us had his team, his defense on the sideline. He was talking to them, and they went out and they executed the next play. It was an interception. It's just in-game adjustments. We got to get better on that. But like I said, I'm not putting it all on Mike Tomlin, man. We might need more coaches to watch better plays or better situations. But that's all I got, bro. I'm out. Peace.
Appreciate the call, man. And listen, I keep telling y'all gotta speed it up, man. Y'all have to, because we spend too much time. But I definitely love that call. I just want to comment on what you said about Bill Belichick. On that play specifically, if y'all go back and watch it, they ain't do nothing special. You know what they did? Right before the hike, they shifted. They just disguised the coverage. That's all they did. They, like, coverage-wise, all they did was they started over here, and then they jetted back to their left. And it looked like to me that Mitch Trubisky was predetermined, because when he let that ball go and Jabril Peppers caught it, there were 4 Patriots. 4 of them in the area to 1 receiver. So it's like, it's nothing special. You understand what I'm saying? Like, obviously Bill Belichick makes adjustments. We know that, right? And we've heard the players say that Tomlin makes adjustments. Remember when we beat New England with Joe Hayden and they kept praising how much Tomlin was drawing up plays on the sideline, which got Joe Hayden to pick? See, we forget those moments. But I get it. But man, they didn't do anything other than show one coverage and then shift to something else. And Trubisky had no reason throwing that ball there, man. It's just it's sad. It's sad. Another donation, man. Who was that? Kev, so nice. I think it was CT Pittman. Round of applause. Appreciate that. CT Pittman says, Sim, one last thing. We pointing fingers at the coaching staff, but at the end of the day, it's on the players. They have to be better. They got to do a gut check and figure it out. Yeah, I think we forgetting that part too. Y'all know I'm a huge component of that. Huge component. There's some things that's on coaching, but when you look at the game, even if you're not looking at the all 22, you can clearly see when a player did something wrong. I showed y'all the screenshot of Darnell Washington and how his lack of block. Remember the touchdown to, I want to say it was Hunter Henry, one of them dudes, one of those tight ends, where number 23 was just out of reach. The Patriots shifted to a two-man set. They wasn't 2x2, but it was kind of, I don't think they had. Yeah, I think the running back might have been on the opposite side, but they had 2 receivers on this side. Well, a tight end. Tight end ran a slot fade. We had 2 safeties high. KZ, for whatever reasons, opens up to the outside, like towards the sideline. Then he turns back inside and backpedals, and then he's late. He's watching Zappy the entire time. We were in a cover 2, it looks like, because the corner, which I believe was Peterson, was trying to play underneath and drift back. Why KZ didn't stay to his right is beyond me. Henry, or whichever tight end it was the only threat coming his way. The only threat. Everyone else was running underneath. We had plenty of coverage with the backers and the backside safety, which may have been probably was Minko on that play. Had anything coming that direction. There was no reason for him to hang there. You know, sometimes as a deep half safety, you got to cheat. You have to read. You go through your defensive keys and progressions. You got to read where the action is. And when you at that point, who's coming at me? Who's the closest to me? Let me go cheat. Especially knowing when in cover 2 that they could throw it in the hole. And he's always late. Y'all notice that? He's always late. He's always That's on the players, man. That's on the player. Let's take another call or two, man. Round of applause. We got another donation coming in, but let me grab the call real quick. Let's see who was next in the queue. 412, area code 412. Guys, please keep it quick for me. What you got for me?
Hey, Sim and Smitty. I haven't got to call in a while.
Yes, sir.
I want to say is Steelers fans, we spoiled. The last time we had a losing season, I was 8 years old. I'm 28, man. Like, I remember that season when they had it. Then, if y'all want Mike Tomlin to be fired, let's not forget, Bill Cowher had 3 consecutive under 500 seasons where he didn't make the playoffs, and Dan Rooney still extended him. So let's pump our brakes. We also got to think about it. We are in a rebuilding phase. We have a first-time GM. We're still rebuilding this roster. If you fire Tomlin, all the moving pieces that are happening right now will be 10 times worse. We're not ready to be the Cleveland Browns. It will take us 5 years to rebuild. So that coach is going to want to bring in his own players and his own coaching staff and his own scouting crew. And will he even work good with Omar? So let's chill out. And when people say that Tomlin don't have a coaching tree, I guess Bruce Arians doesn't count for some reason. Like, he got his claim to fame for that Super Bowl drive. So Steelers fans, we need to chill out. And I want to say on Darnell Washington, I have a lot more to say, but you don't got a lot of time. But Darnell Washington, I think he's still a better blocker than Gentry, because Gentry still struggled on one-on-one blocking assignments. I think Darnell's hitting his rookie wall, and the play calling is not helping because we ran that toss play how many times. They're going to key on that and beat him in his technique. So we need to find ways where we can get him off the down block and maybe give him passing route or something. But we got to assist him as a rookie. I think he's just mostly hitting his rookie wall. But peace. I'm happy I got to call in. Have a good night.
Man, thanks for calling, Smitty. And you know what? You might make a good point there, too, with Darnell. You know, because, again, I could give my opinion on players, but as y'all notice, I don't generally throw these guys in the trash, especially when they're early. And that's what I said, too, earlier, is this fact. Maybe getting him in different blocking situations. Maybe it's just when he's in line is when it's not the best for him. Because it seems like when he's on that same side with Broderick Jones, he does better. And I do think there's something there just in sheer size of him that we can get something out of him. And you might be right. You know, he might be a better blocker than Gentry. Is just, we got to see more of it. So, appreciate that. I don't want to jump too far to conclusions. Let's see. I think I got time for maybe one more. Area code 803, which is our good buddy, Mr. Winningham. What you got for us?
Good evening. Good evening. Happy holidays to everybody. Shout out to my man 757. I'm so old I remember 757 Norfolk was 804. You might understand that.
Yeah.
One thing about Tomlin is, look, I'm not going to sit here as a coach and take the bullet for these coaches underperforming. When a player underperforms, you get cut. Well, when a coach underperforms and it affects the team for the last 2 years, we've had the same thing happen to this team. You might say we spoiled. Yeah, but we haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Yeah.
We haven't won a Super Bowl since 2008. We haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2010, 2011. So you can call it spoiled, but, you know, when these things happen year after year after year, and anybody who's been in a job so long, you get set in your ways. And I think there are some particular things that ownership can take away from Coach Tomlin, which makes him become more coach on the field, and the organization and the GM finds the coordinator that would be perfect for us. So I look at some of these games and I see these guys, the way they go about, you know, last night with the Dolphins, even though they couldn't make a first down, all they had to do was make a first down, they won the game. To see those line shifts and stuff, and, you know, you were talking about young tight end. Well, his problem is if you put him on the side of Dan Moore, who isn't a good blocker to start with, you know, that has a lot to do with it. But at his size, you know, if I got a guy and all I got to do is box him in so I can get the guy on the outside, then you just teach him how to do a simple block. But thank you so much. Happy holidays, everybody. Look, I'm a Steeler fan because that S, just like Superman, represents hope. Good night, everyone.
Man, Mr. Winningham, we're going to give you a round of applause for that call. This is what I love, right? And we're going to have to end it right there. I do see that there's calls still in queue, man, but, you know, I don't have time to get to them. Listen, if you must have your call answered tonight, drop a super chat, and I will grab it. This is what I love. This is what I try to get people to do more. Give me your thoughts, your real thoughts with some meat on the bone, and not just the easy target narrative. I love what Mr. Winningham had to say there because he makes good points. Who could refute what he said? Even if you are a Tomlin fan, how can you refute what he said? Those are points. Good points. It is a fact. We have not won a playoff game. What was it? The Kansas City one? Was that the last one? He said 2016. I think that was it. You are absolutely correct. And the fans, we fans have a right to be upset about that. Have not won a Super Bowl in over 10 years now. Now, that one is a little harder to come by. I get it. But we've been close, right? We've been right at the door of the playoffs. I recall the year that we still beat the Patriots that year. It was a catch, Jesse James. 13-3, them boys got a bye. Ain't even got to play the first weekend. You get Jacksonville coming in at your crib, and you choke that up. That was the closest we got back to a Super Bowl run. And you lose. So I get it. Those are excellent points. So anybody who says that, I can't be mad at them. That I can accept. Like, whether I agree or disagree, I can accept that. Like, you know what? That's a great point, man. I understand why you're not such a fan. Or why you maybe have grown tired of the same story. And this is why I continue to say, folks, that is the reason why I say the Killer B era was the window. That was the time for the Super Bowl to happen. Because you got to put up points in this league. Got a couple donations here that I missed. Let me get those, and then I'll come back to my point, and then I'll leave a few minutes left for comments. Round of applause to Black Scorpion as well as Andre Romero. Appreciate you. Black Scorpion says, keep the faith, SteelerNation. They'll turn it around. Look at my Bengals. Who they? Yeah, the only thing that good faith with you guys is y'all have Joe Burrow, but now it looks like this guy Browning is playing pretty well. We'll see if that continues. But, yeah, you know, the Bengals have now become a team you have to pay attention to. And like he said, man, imagine how long he went through that turmoil in the Marvin Lewis era with not winning a playoff game. And Could be worse, SteelerNation. Andre Romero says, take area code 505. I sure will. See, appreciate that. And that will be the final call. Area 505. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to start with this. I want to share with you a very depressing stat. Ever since the beginning of last year, in the last like 30 games, the Pittsburgh Steelers have only thrown 21 touchdown passes. And just take this with a grain of salt. I'm a young fan. I was born in '99, but I am sick of Mike Tomlin, and I'm tired of this pattern that we're going on. And I want to bring up an example. I want to compare us to the other team in the state of Pennsylvania, the Eagles. Since the year 2012, the Eagles have fired 3 head coaches. One of those coaches being Andy Reid, and the other coach being Doug Peterson. Okay, 2 really good coaches right now. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, if you fire Mike Tomlin, someone's going to get him right away. And that happened with Andy Reid. And look how he is now. My point is, I think that this relationship with us and Tomlin has just run its course. And I think it's time for a new voice and new blood. I want to see us win a playoff game. We haven't done that ever since I was a junior in high school, and I'm 24 years old now. It's been a while. And especially after seeing us lose to the Jaguars at home with that really talented team, and especially losing to the Browns at home, a team that we've dominated for so long, beat us in the playoffs like that. Tomlin has wasted a lot of talent, in my opinion, because we could have played in at least one Super Bowl in that time frame, and I am so disappointed that we weren't able to do that, and it's only getting worse. I know that this call was long. That's all I got, Sim. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, no doubt. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate that, and I will respond to some of your points. The biggest point that I want to make that Andre said there, he says he's 24 years old. This is Mike Tomlin's 17th season. Mike Tomlin is pretty much the only coach he's known. Because before then, I mean, he was a young guy. Yeah, he wasn't really paying attention to the coaching. But as he got older, Mike Tomlin is the only face of the Steelers that he knows. That is fair for him to say, man, I'm tired of it. 17 seasons is a long time. In his case, what? Let's just say he's been really watching Mike Tomlin, let's say, for 10 years. That's a long time. I get it. So I can't disagree with his point there. The only thing that I would say is, I know it's just emotion talking, but I don't know if I go with when people say that Tomlin wasted a lot of talent. That one's hard for me to grasp because, again, we got what we could get out of them killer bees, and our defense was trash. Like, our defense during that era was not good. They just were not good from top to bottom. You know, you got Ryan Shazier for some of that. But at the corner spots and all of that, the Mike Mitchells of the world playing deep, they just weren't good. So I don't know if I go along with when anyone says a coach wasted talent unless you can see that the coach is inept, right? You can't say that about Mike Tomlin because even in your tenure, you've seen him produce these 12-4 seasons. And again, I'm giving Tomlin too much credit. The team produced these 12-4 seasons and 13-3s and stuff like that. It is what it is. But I'm there with you. I'm not disagreeing with you particularly in your viewing time, saying that you want to see a new voice. I'm with you. But just to talk about the Andy Reid thing is exactly what I said. I have no rebuttal to that. Mike Tomlin, if he's let go or what have you and goes to another team and wins the Super Bowl, then the question is, if he does that, if he does the Andy Reid, you saying he's a bad coach? That's my biggest point. And thanks, Andre, for bringing that out. That's my point of saying that a couple weeks ago. If Mike Tomlin leaves the Steelers and goes somewhere else and wins, what is going to be the sentiment of SteelerNation? At that point, you can no longer say, oh, he's a bad coach. How? And like I said, the same thing, obviously, with Andy Reid. It was just Andy Reid's time to go in Philly. It might just be Tomlin's time to go in Pittsburgh. I'm not advocating for him to leave or stay. I'm right in the middle. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to see this team do good. Couple donations, man. We got CT Pittman again. And C. Antoine Hill. Appreciate it. CT Pittman says, so does Kevin Colbert get smoked? He put together most of the roster. He should have seen what he had in TJ and Minka and drafted and traded accordingly to take advantage of their prime years. Listen, that's a valid question to oppose those who thinks it's only the coach. Very valid question by CT Pittman. So for you all who feel it's primarily the head coach, respond to his question. Who else we got? Antoine Hill, my man, says, speaking of the killer bees, we got to revisit that email I sent. Plus, it looks like the Sixers might get another ring before the Steelers get 7. Man, I doubt that. As much as I'm a Sixers fan, I don't believe that. Seeing is believing when it comes to that. So I don't believe in there one of them getting me a championship in the near future. That's just my opinion. All right, man, a few more comments here. Hello, Jennifer B., another lovely lady of the chat. Appreciate you. We take care of our ladies over here. So fellas, say hello. Lay out the red carpet. She says, finally left alone, but he said, finally left alone about it for now. Okay, I don't know what that means, Jennifer. Did I miss something from above? Let me see if I can see a previous comment I may have missed. Not sure what that was, but at least I was able to greet you. Real G Lee says, Sim, the Rooneys must put a team on the field that wins. If Tomlin does not start winning, he will lose his job. That's it. That's all. They are not going to allow us to become the Cowboys. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, nobody can predict the future, but like Smitty said, one of you guys said, Cowher had losing seasons as well, and they extended him. So, listen, it's a brand new day. The Rooneys might do something different, but I don't want you guys to start imagining the Steelers organization acting differently than you're accustomed to acting. So it's wishful thinking to say all of that about him losing his job and all that. Again, if they allowed even Chuck Noll back in his day, even though Chuck Noll had the 4 Super Bowls, but if they allowed him to stay as long as he did when the Steelers were bad, if they allowed Bill Cowher to stay as long as he did when the Steelers were losing, common sense would tell you that, it's just my opinion, that if Mike Tomlin produces his first losing season, they're not going to rush to fire him. That's all I'm saying. And you have to remember, guys, again, I said this last week, the Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, tied for the most in NFL history. That to me sounds like patience for an organization to understanding that you're not going to win every year. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up, man. Just don't fill your mind with false hope. Same thing I say about this team right now. Tomlin won't win with another team unless he has a franchise quarterback. Oh yeah, I remember when Cowher left, he said he wouldn't coach again unless he had a franchise quarterback. That's a good point there, Dominic. See? Now there's so many things that supports. You see what I mean? There's so many different ways that you can challenge whether it's the coach or not the coach. That is a fair point. Look at Bill Belichick. Yeah, they just beat us. But look how they've looked without Tom Brady. There's a lot of factors. So that's why I always say, man, as much as you guys are doing like this to Mike Tomlin, but y'all also do that about Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. So the realest comment tonight was Andre's call when he said, look, I'm going to just be honest. I'm just tired of it because that's a fair point. It's fatigue of seeing the same face. Stillberg says, seeing that we all know what draft pick number the Steelers have consistently, we shouldn't expect this great overhaul of elite players every year. Absolutely. Sippy Boy says, didn't use it as one, just said, look at the details, and injury is one that you can't overlook when you bring up having the killer bees. They barely played together for injuries or suspensions. Hey, that is a fact, right? But let me explain to y'all why I say that. Do y'all remember the points that the Steelers were producing then? In the Todd Haley era. That's all I'm saying. I know they didn't all play. If they all would have played together more, boy, what could they have been? I'm talking about the electrifying offense that was when they were together. When at least two killer bees were together. When it was AB and Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell thrown in that mix. Then here comes Martavis Bryant, where the Steelers were producing points out of this world. Ben Roethlisberger throwing 12 touchdowns in 2 games. That's what I'm talking about. So, of course, you can account for injuries and all that. Every team goes through it. I'm just talking about the production, the scoring that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was when they had Killer Bees and Todd Haley as well. Remember all of those promos when they used to say, man, this ain't just Steelers of yesterday. These dudes got an offense. That's what I'm talking about. That was the time that I would have expected the Pittsburgh Steelers to win another Super Bowl, because I don't care how much we say defense win championships, and it does. I also recall when the Seattle Seahawks put the beat down on the Denver Broncos. I think the score was 43-9 or 43-10, something like that. Even though the Legion of Boom wreaked havoc, they still scored 40-something points. You got to score points in the NFL. You ain't going to see too many Super Bowls like that. What was that? Rams, Patriots. I'm just saying. You got to score points as well. So that's why I say that was the time as a fan when I was like, yo, this the time I think we unstoppable. This offense is masterful. And they didn't get it done. No defense. Didn't get it done. But all right, I'm out of here, man. Y'all know the routine. Listen, if you like what you saw here tonight, hit that like button. Once you do that, if you like the content, subscribe. And then once you've done that, I suggest turning on that notification bell so you know when videos are available. But outside of that, man, listen, I don't believe in this team to do anything. I told y'all this 5 weeks ago. They're 7-6, but who cares? No, I do not think the Steelers are going to go on a run and get into the playoffs. No, I don't think if they get in the playoffs, they're going to win. Am I always open for being wrong? Sure, but there's absolutely nothing that gives me confidence to think that. So at this point, I'm just watching and allow them to surprise me or not. That disappointment won't even happen to me at all this season. That stopped a few weeks ago, especially after these 2 games. There's nothing they can do at this point on to disappoint me. So let me just say that. Right now, all they can do is surprise me. But all right, that's going to put a bow on this one, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Love y'all, man. Hey, thank you for tuning in like always. Stay safe. God bless. Stay healthy. Have a great night. And I shall see you guys for the before play. That probably will be coming your way on Friday since the game is on Saturday, which I'm going to miss. I got something else to do over the weekend. But maybe if I don't watch, they'll surprise me. All right, man, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Like I said, look out for Friday, the before play, to give you my synopsis on what the Steelers may have to do if they want to try to win this game. All right, catch y'all in the next one. Peace.